Welcome to another edition of Talk City Greensboro, produced by GTN, featuring interviews and events happening around town. It's an easy way to stay in the know while you're on the go. Subscribe to Talk City on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or SoundCloud so you can keep up with what's going on in Greensboro City government. I'm your host, Josh Johnson, and alongside me at the controls, in command, in control, I'm losing my control, Mr. Devin Smith. I really have not practiced a whole lot with my intros.
You've had 2 weeks off. Now you're in a fancy new
I know.
studio
I think
setup.
yeah.
Everything's
I got
different
really nervous there, but when I was trying to throw the intro to you. So,
well, what's up, Greensboro? I hope everyone enjoyed last month's podcast. They were all about African American History Month. Mm-hmm. This month we are doing Women's History Month, so I hope you enjoyed our last podcast with Kim. And so now we're fully into March, and we're continuing celebrating Women's History Month. So this week we're going to focus on women empowerment. Mm-hmm. So joining us is Michelle Gill-Moffat, who is the Youth Program Supervisor for the City of Greensboro's Parks and Recreation Department. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
I'm excited. This is my first time doing a podcast, so
well, hopefully it won't be your last.
That's right.
Well, we invited you on because you recently became the chair or co-chair for one of our employee resource groups, and that is Women in the Workforce, right?
Yes.
And so why'd you get involved with that? Why did you think that was something that would be good for you to do?
Yeah, I was so honored to be asked to co-chair this with LaToya Harris, and when I was asked, I really didn't hesitate to take this on because I think that women have such a unique voice in the workplace, particularly in city government, and we bring a lot of really cool things to the table. And so this ERG has given me the opportunity to hear what other women are dealing with at work every day, but also it's not a complaining situation. We want to come with solutions. We want to come with, hey, these are some things that we can fix and make the city better. Absolutely.
Yeah, I always I find it funny. So for me, coming out of African American History Month and then into Women's History Month, when I talk to Black women, I'm always interested to know whether they feel whether they feel like they have to deal with being Black or being a woman. Because it's almost like they have to choose sometimes when they're in the workplace, especially in leadership. It's like, am I the only woman, or what is it? What barrier am I going to have, or obstacle am I going to have to get over to make sure that my voice is heard today? So
I think it's similar to being a working mother. Yeah, it's like because we have an ERG that's working parents, and it's similar to Am I a woman in leadership? Am I a woman in the workforce? Am I a working mother? But you kind of carry all those when you come into work, and it's hard to separate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have a team that you lead in your position with Parks and Rec, and your department director is a woman. Can you talk about the importance of women being in leadership positions?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've worked really hard to get where I am, and think that it's important to have women in leadership roles. I think that women bring an empathy to the workplace that in today's time is so important, and we juggle things so differently. No offense, guys.
Well, you know what? I'm going to interrupt you for a second and show my age. When you say that, there was a comedian named Gallagher. Do you remember Gallagher?
Yes,
Do you remember
vaguely.
his classic joke about if you hand a camera to a man or a woman, they'll focus differently.
Oh, yeah.
A man will turn the thing, or the man will walk back or forth. Anyway, that just popped into my head.
Yeah, no, I think that's really true. Up until a couple years ago, I'd only supervised women, and then we brought a male onto our team, and it took me a few months to kind of adjust to how his brain operated and how he worked on projects. Love you, if you're listening. But it does take a while when you're used to working with other women, and when you work on projects, and then kind of getting that different viewpoint, because we all kind of focus and operate differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was funny because I want to say it might have been when we were doing that interview with Shirley Fry, and she was just saying that, women just, we manage things differently than men, which is absolutely true. I think that a lot of the times we get so caught up in trying to be so equal that we don't that we don't recognize that we have different, like, it's okay to be different sometimes. And you know what I mean, as being a woman versus being a man, it's okay to say, okay, well, sometimes we come at things in a different perspective and look at them differently, and that's about bringing the diversity to the table.
Absolutely.
So who is a woman that you saw as I guess like a shiro, I'll say, someone that you felt like gave you the power to empower other women?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I've been really fortunate in my life. I've had some of the same friends since kindergarten, which is weird at 43 years old to be able to say that. But I've really had strong women relationships in my life. And professionally, before I came to the city, I worked on a statewide grant, and I think that that was one of the coolest opportunities because there were other women that I worked with, and we all had the same goal. We all had the same vision in mind because we were all doing the same project. So we empowered each other. We created projects together. There was no competition, and so it was easy to support one another. So then, coming into my current role, my job really is to support not just my staff, but the other women that I work with, and make sure that they have a voice and that they're okay sharing that voice, but also recognizing that not everybody feels comfortable sharing. Josh is smiling, but I'm a very loud and outgoing person, and I have no problem asking the questions that everybody else in the room is thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not everybody's, forte. And so how do we make sure that everybody's voice is heard, even if they're not the one sitting at the table jumping up and down going, you got to hear me.
Yeah. So who's the person that you look up to the most as a woman, like a woman?
Like, I got to pick one?
Yeah, you just got to pick one.
Oh my God. All right, this is going to sound odd, but right now, in the current date in time where I am, it's going to be my daughter, my 13-year-old. She has gone through a crap load of stuff for being 13. I've dealt with a lot of health issues in the last couple of years, and to see her resiliency and to see how she has handled that is amazing. And to see how she's handled the pandemic and dealing with friends and dealing with not being in school and all this stuff. She just reminds me every day that, like, this is going to get better, and that life is what it is, and you got to keep going. So right now, today, that's who I would say. Ask me next week, it may be somebody different because she may be really driving me crazy, but today, that's who it is. And she's going to kill me if she ever hears this, but
oh no.
Well, make sure you let her listen to it.
I will. I'll post it on Instagram so all of her friends who follow me can listen to it too.
Now then she might kill you.
Oh yeah, she does not like that her friends follow me on Instagram.
Oh, that's funny. So the women's suffrage movement was really only a generation ago. Last year marked 100 years that women could vote. So even though strides have been made, what do you try to instill in the youth that you interact with on the job?
Yeah, I think this goes to not only the youth I work with, and unfortunately I don't get to do a lot of hands-on work with youth anymore, but spent about 15 years of my career having youth-led groups and being a youth leader, but also with my own kids and with friends and family kids that we have, but helping them understand that they have to live their best life, and no matter what that is, and don't make apologies for it. And also helping them to understand that you never know what somebody else is going through. And so we joke in our family that sometimes you go out and you see people and you're like, what are they doing? Like, why is that guy wearing a blue suit? And I always kind of remind my kids, like, hey, that guy is living his best life. And that is okay. And we are not here to judge him. He's going to do what he needs to do. But also, to remember that we don't know what other people are dealing with. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be the one, sharing your voice and asking, what can I do to make things better? I do a lot of work in advocacy and policy work, and have done that in my past before I came to the city, and really helping kids understand that your voice makes a difference. And if you don't share that and you don't give your opinion, we can't help you. We can't make any changes.
Yeah, we don't know. Now, I recently was part of an interview that you did with Maria Hicks Few. Aren't you working with an organization out of Raleigh right now?
Yeah, so I'm working with NC Child
Yeah.
and the YMCA to we've brought in the Guilford County Child Advocacy Network. And that is an opportunity for community partners and parents and local advocates to come together and work on building policy and legislative agenda issues for not only locally in Greensboro, but on a statewide level.
Right.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and it's really needed because we need to focus on how we can make our children's lives better in Greensboro.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so with that being said, do you have any cool events or anything that you may want to mention that's coming up in this month?
Yeah, so Parks and Rec is always looking for ways to get families and kids engaged, and we're so glad that the COVID numbers are hopefully starting to go down.
Yes.
For the love of God.
I'm going to knock on the table
yeah,
here.
please.
This is real wood.
It is,
of course it is. So we are excited to announce that our spring sports are coming back for, we've got adult softball, adult kickball. If you've never played kickball, I did used to play. We did come in second in the league. I've retired, Josh, so don't get excited that you're going to come out and videotape anything.
Too bad.
Youth baseball. So our sports are coming back. We've started registration for our for our summer camps. There's a foot golf tournament that's happening at Gillespie Golf Course, which is an awesome new sport in the community. There is, what else? There's a chalk walk that's happening where people can take chalk and draw over by the, I'm not going to say the right place, so I'm not going to say it.
That's all right. We're going to send
check out our
everybody to the website. There you go.
Check out our website. But we've always got cool things. And of course, they can always get out and go to our trails and our parks and just enjoy being outside. It's so good for the mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I thank you for coming and sharing so much with us. I know you'll be back. I hope you enjoyed your first experience on the podcast.
This was great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Stay tuned in weekly by subscribing to Talk City Greensboro on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And don't forget, you can download Talk City from SoundCloud.
That's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in to Talk City. Be sure to watch GTN, your official source for news and information from the city of Greensboro. GTN is available on Spectrum Channel 13,
AT&T U-verse Channel 99,
and North State Channel 31.
GTN also streams live on Roku and the city's website at greensboro-nc.gov.
Have a good one.
See ya.